Ramachandra from the NR Sports Show. This is episode 887, joined by a really special guest. Her name is Nikki Geist. She's a sports host, and she's the co-host of a podcast called Third and Three Podcast with Damian and Jason. Go check them out. They do a fantastic job with that podcast. They talk all sports. And Nikki, I just want to say thank you for joining the show. It's truly an honor. And how are you and your family doing tonight?
Yeah, doing good. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're doing good. Just taking it day by day and trying to stay safe. What about you guys?
Yeah, we're doing good. Same thing. Trying to stay safe. Busy with the show.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, and just hanging in there. I'm over this stuff already, so hopefully,
get I know.
Normalcy back soon.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, but I want to start off with your childhood growing up, and when did you get interested in the sports industry, covering sports, and did you get to play any sports growing up too? And who was your role model that you looked up to?
Well, I really got into it because of my dad. I just kind of, took to football right away, and basketball I do watch on and off, but there was nothing like watching the Bulls in the early 90s, as we were all Bulls fans then. But yeah, I really got to thank my dad. I mean, we would just sit together and watch games, and I'd ask a million questions, and that hasn't stopped, even though he lives about an hour away. We're still texting on Sundays, and so the whole family dynamic is awesome. And I did grow up dancing, and I grew up doing cheer my entire life. I coached cheer, coach all-stars, taught dance. So yeah, I've always been in the sports world. And I love it. It's just, nothing like coaching. I don't know if you ever coached before, but it's really an awesome feeling.
Yeah, I have no coaching experiences, but I have 2 offers on the table for coaching opportunities. So let's
Really?
See. Yeah.
For what?
For soccer and basketball.
Oh, are you going to do it?
I'm leaning to right now. I'm waiting for them to get back to me, but whoever answers back, I'm taking it. So
there you go.
that's my thing right there.
It's so awesome. It's such an awesome feeling.
Especially when right now it's all about the youth. So focusing on the youth and helping these kids out get to their goals, and just to see them work hard every day and not playing video games. Video games, I don't like seeing them playing video games. It's all about staying active and making sure they get to their goal. So
yeah, 100%. Like get outside. Like we didn't really have these like video games like this when we were kids, so we had to go outside and go play with the neighbors and go play kickball and find something to do. Our parents were like, no, go outside. Stay out there all summer. But yeah, coaching is really gratifying. Nothing like, it could be aggravating sometimes, of course, but nothing like seeing your team out there and accomplishing their goals and doing what they set out to do. It's really, really cool.
So before coaching, I'm just curious, in college and high school, did you cheer in high school and college? And did you ever think to yourself, maybe you can be an NFL cheerleader?
So I did cheer in high school. I went to community college, so they didn't have a team, but I did continue coaching and coach all-stars locally for a couple gyms. And so I had an opportunity to try out for the Eagles cheer team with my friends. And I backed out at the last minute because I just hate that team. And there was just no way that I could actually step on the field and cheer for this team. Like I was like, okay, it could be a great opportunity, but I can't do it. I love the Giants more. So I thought about it, took a beat. It was like, no, I can't. Sorry.
I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Oh no.
Corny's an Eagle fan, so we gotta.
I know. Ooh, it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah. So I want to ask you though, what's it like coaching for you, especially for you? What's it like coaching these young girls and cheerleading and teaching them the techniques? Because I know everybody thinks it's easy, but it's hard to learn the techniques of cheerleading, right?
It is, and a lot of people say that it's not a sport, and I would invite them to maybe come to practice one day and learn these stunts and learn how to tumble and learn how to cram a 2-minute and 30 routine in there. And you're stunting and you're lifting people and you're doing gymnastics and you're dancing, and the stamina that it takes to do that is, unbelievable. And for me, recently mostly coached like the 7 and 8 year olds. So I guess the biggest challenge is attention span, right? And you kind of have to make it fun, but still being able to teach the technique, and kind of just, you got to embrace the challenges, but you overcome it. And we try to make it as fun as possible. And you really want to send the right message, especially to young girls, that, you know what, you can do this. You are good enough. You look perfectly fine just the way that you are. Because I know that can start early, and especially in the cheerleading world, there could be a dark side to it. So it's really just keeping that positive message, like, this is for fun. We want to achieve the goals, and just making sure that they have a good time at the end of the day. But yeah, teaching technique, I mean, you have to be safe at the same time, right? I've seen some horrific injuries. I've been injured. So it's difficult. And I do wish people would give cheerleading the respect that they should give it and call it a sport.
Yeah, they need to give more respect to you guys. The way you train and exercise, that takes a lot of training to do, to perfect it. Like in any other sport, same thing. And I want to ask you, in college, did you get, obviously before going into the covering sports, did you get to like cover sports in college, or take me to the first opportunity when you got the chance to cover sports?
Actually, no, I never did. This Third and Three podcast kind of was born out of the pandemic. Actually, we, everything shut down. I know you're locally kind of where I live too. And, we got to a point last year where we couldn't even go to a park. We couldn't go to the gym. We couldn't do anything. Right. So, I'd known Jay, being in a league together for a few years, and he had a podcast, and he said, why don't you come on? And I'm thinking, well, I don't really know what the hell I'm doing, but sure, I'll just kind of come on and talk about the Giants. And then he invited Damien on, and the three of us kind of just kept going, and the show kept growing. And we're on season 4 now. We're live Wednesdays at 8:00, Facebook Live, YouTube, and then of course on Anchor Radio as well. But it's been an amazing experience, and thank God for those guys, kind of keep us on the right track, because God knows I can go off the rails. But no, this was really my first opportunity, and I had no idea what I was doing. But sometimes out of something like the pandemic, like, something cool can happen. So yeah.
Same thing with long story short, I started this when the pandemic started, and when the sport shut down, and we're over 800 episodes in a year. And now I have a team of 8 people. 4 of them are females, and I'm a big advocate in women in sports. So I'm giving every opportunity to each female that wants to be in the sports industry. So my team is amazing, and I'm liking where these podcasts are going. And it's amazing to see where a lot of people starting podcasts and teaming up with people. It's amazing what I'm seeing here right now.
It's great, isn't it? It really is. And I appreciate that you support women in sports, and because it's hard. Personally, I work in a male-dominated industry, so kind of deal with that a little bit every day. And then, as your hobby, being a podcast, so it's nice to have the support and have people recognize that, we do work hard. You don't just come on and talk. There is, there is prep that is involved, and, you want to put together a good show. And also, you don't want to come on a show and just make a fool of yourself. So, but I do appreciate the support. I really do. And I know that a lot of women in the industry also support it. So thank you. Thank you
anytime. And you guys need another female to balance it out here, because I think, but you 3 are amazing. I love what you guys do. You're the big 3 of the podcast world, and I love it. And so when you got the opportunity from Jason, and what went through your mind, saying, how were you happy that you got how nervous were you at the same time, but how shocked were you when you got the opportunity from Jason?
Yeah, no, I was shocked, because like I said, I never did it before. I mean, I would go on Twitter and just like put my rants out there, and people would respond to it. No, I was really nervous the first time. I just didn't know what to do, and I didn't prep anything, because he was like, well, we'll just have a conversation. And I'm thinking, oh God, I'm going to sound like a fool, and that's the last thing I want to do. But as we kind of got into a rhythm, they just, they are super talented guys, and they really do push me to bring my A game each and every week. I really, really try to do that. So they're very well ingrained in the sports world, and I appreciate them every day, every week. So they make it easy for me.
Yeah, so we're gonna start doing weekly segments on our show pretty soon, where we're going to cover all NFL stuff and other things. So not only interviews, but we're going to do weekly segments. So what's it like for you guys? How do you guys prep for your weekly segments? Like you said, every Wednesday. What do you guys? How do you know which topics to talk about each Wednesday, and how do you guys prep for it?
So it's so funny. I actually get this question quite a bit, especially when people find out I have a podcast and I'm a co-host, and they go, "Oh, well, what kind of prep is involved?" And we always joke on the show that literally almost none. We talk on Monday nights for, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe, throw some ideas out, kind of, flesh it out a little bit. And then we just go. Like we hit the live broadcast button and we just go and we play off of each other. And of course, in season, you kind of have your same thing, your recap, your picks, right? We do this suicide fantasy, which you can't pick the same player again. So that's really tough. We do our predictions, but in the off season, especially last year with no sports and the pandemic, that was tough. So we got creative. We did, knowledge with Nikki and unpopular opinion. And I like to do a who's more likely segment. And sometimes we just kind of go off the rails a little bit. But that's what I think makes the show so fun. So yeah, it's really a quick 10-minute touch base on Monday nights, and we just kind of go from there.
Wow, that's amazing. So speaking of last year when everything got shut down, not knowing where everybody's going to be in the future and all, but what have you learned yourself as a person and being with the show now, 3rd and 3, but what have you learned from the past year? And because we can't take anything for granted. So what have you learned?
We definitely cannot. I have learned that you need to embrace opportunity when it comes your way. Because had I said no, just out of fear, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And I probably would have been mad at myself. So I think sometimes if an opportunity comes your way, your instinct might be to say, oh no, this is way out of my comfort zone. I don't do this, but maybe you should take those opportunities sometimes because something beautiful can come out of it.
Yeah, so I want to talk now. Let's get to the fun stuff. And obviously, the NFL season starting soon. I can't wait. College football started already. Can't wait for college football to get started, to now get in full swing. But NFL next week, and what are you most looking forward to with fans coming back now in the stadiums, wearing a mask or no mask But last year, no fans. But just to see fans back in the stadium now in NFL games.
My God, it's great, right? Even like watching a little bit of the preseason is so nice to see people back, so nice to see fans back. I imagine that has to be hard because fans are part of like getting your adrenaline going. I know a professional athlete's going to have that drive anyway, but gosh, even in cheerleading and competing in cheerleading and in dance, there's nothing like that crowd to get you going, right? You just get amped up. So I am happy to see fans back. It'll be nice to go to some games this year, kind of get back into it. And I think the fans are happy, right? We could finally feel like we're getting back to normal a little bit. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. So speaking of, before we go back to NFL, I want to ask you: do you want to still coach cheerleading also? Still?
I do. Yeah, no, I do. Unfortunately, this year, so many things were up in the air. I know parents were concerned. Some pulled out. They ended up merging teams. There was competition. There wasn't. There was a protocol. There wasn't. So you know what? We thought it was a good year. Maybe just step back this year and kind of reevaluate next year and kind of see how people are feeling. So it was a little touch and go this year. I think the uncertainty where, 1 week seems like we're doing great and then the next week we're going backwards. So I understand that. And hopefully next year is a better year.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to now back to NFL, and what is your thoughts so far on this preseason? Obviously, at least now these players get a training camp preseason, a full thing. So what was your thoughts on this year's preseason?
Well, I finally got to see Daniel Jones. So that was nice. See him for a little bit. I'm a little concerned still about his decision making. But I'm hoping for everybody and for all teams now that we have a preseason, right? Because we didn't have that last year. So they have a full preseason under their belt. I think, like anything, the first few games of September are probably going to be a little bit rough. But I think by week 4, everyone will kind of start hitting their stride. But I was mostly concerned, obviously, being a Giants fan, that I wanted to see Daniel Jones. So we got to see a little bit of that. I'm hoping he takes a big step forward this year. I really am.
So speaking of your Giants, obviously Saquon Barkley's back. Hopefully he stays healthy. I respect him as a player. Now you got Kenny Galladay, Tooney from Florida. You got so many weapons. Oh, I love Kyle Rudolph. That's a big pickup
Yes.
for you guys. That's gonna be a matchup nightmare for us, especially on the against the Cowboys. But now you got obviously Daniel Jones has no excuse now with these weapons. But the one issue I have with you guys is the
Yeah.
offensive line.
Oh,
Andrew Thomas. I don't know what Dave Gettleman liked about Andrew Thomas. This guy, I don't. I kind of. It's gonna be. I think it's a bust to me. And you guys made a trade today with the Ravens. You guys got a young offensive lineman, I think. I forgot his name, but you made a trade today. But do you think that how concerned are you with the offensive line, and do you think they can? What can they do to fix that? Because Daniel, they need to protect Daniel Jones for sure.
yeah, no, they do. And I mean, the fans have been screaming for an offensive line for like 10 years now, right? I mean, it's just been like horrid. For yeah, I would say about 10 years, maybe over 10 years since the last time we won the Super Bowl. It's just been terrible. I mean, I know they have Nate Solder back. They believe they moved him. Um, they just got to figure it out. And I don't know why they keep ignoring the offensive line, right? To me, that's where football games are won, in the trenches. I know it's not like, the sexy like positions to talk about, but that's really where it happens.
Yeah.
Look at the Cowboys. They had a fantastic offensive line. You can do almost anything, right? That run game. I mean, give Dak time. So it is so, so important. I don't know why it's ignored. I just really hope this is the year they start pulling it together, because I can't take it anymore. I cannot watch it anymore. It is so frustrating. I'm sure you love it, but I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, but actually the side I like is I love your defense. I think your
Yes.
defense is there. Joe Judge, obviously defensive minded coach, special teams. Um, you got Adoree Jackson, who I love when healthy. I his time. I think the Adoree Jackson signing is. I think he's going to pay off big because I think he needed a change of scenery. I know he had some decent years in Tennessee, but I think for you guys, I think he'll fit perfectly in that system. And what do you like about the defense and the Adoree Jackson pickup for you guys?
Yeah, I love it. I'm high on this defense. They were in the top 10 last year rankings. So, James Bradbury, that's my guy. I can't wait to see what he does this year. He had a monster year last year. So I'm high on the defense. I think it's going to be a good year for them. Like I said, my main concern, unfortunately, is Daniel Jones and that offensive line. Because, like you said, he's got the weapons now. You got the defense. I'll give you a little bit of pass on the line, but
Yeah.
there's really no excuse anymore. There's really not.
Yeah. So now rest of the NFC East and obviously my Cowboys. We play Tampa week 1. I love that. I think that's a good test for us to see where we're at. I think in order to beat the best, you got to be. I mean, in order to be the best, you got to beat the best, right? So I think this is a right off the gate for the Cowboys, good test. Obviously, Dak Prescott coming off that horrific injury. We need him to stay healthy because we have no backup quarterback right now except for Cooper Rush. And I brought up an idea with my friends today that Cam Newton should be a possible. Hopefully, we can get him, but let's see.
Okay.
But what are your thoughts on the Cowboys offseason? We improved on defense. We got Dan Quinn now. I think we have a much better team, but it comes down to health, in my opinion.
Yeah, it comes down to health, and it definitely does come down to that defense, right? I mean, so many games that you probably know them by heart in your head, right? So many games came down to
Yeah.
that defense. You're just watching like, oh my God. So I guess my concern would be how quickly can they turn that around? Because it was pretty rough.
Mhm.
And then yeah, Dak, I keep hearing like, oh, he's hurt more than they're letting on. So I don't know. Is there any truth to that? I don't know. I guess we'll see. I mean, we're gonna see real soon. But yeah, I guess my concern would be, the defense. I do think that the division will come down to the Cowboys
Mhm.
and the Washington football team. So I think they're
Oh
going to
wow, I got the Giants and Cowboys competing for the division.
really,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't think, no, I think the Giants, I have them at about 7 wins, and the
Okay.
Eagles around 6 wins. And then I just think that the Cowboys and Washington are just going to battle it out.
Hmm. So what are your thoughts on the Eagles and the Washington football team?
So the Eagles, I don't know what we're quite getting out of Jalen Hurts, right? Cannot stand that team. Yes. But they have a new coach. That offensive line was really rough last year. Like I said, we just don't know what we're getting out of this quarterback. They always have a pretty good defense, but I think there's just too much uncertainty for me. Washington, you want to talk about having all the tools there. I mean, We're just not sure about the quarterbacks. So, I mean, they've got the receivers, they've got the run game, they've got a fantastic offensive line, and I love that defense. And I am super high on Chase Young. I've been singing his praises for over a year now. So I actually think they're probably going to take the division. And I think they're going to beat Dallas out by maybe 1 or 2 games, and it'll just be based on maybe having a better defense.
Yeah, so now I want to ask you, obviously a lot of news this NFL offseason, but the big shocker today was Cam Newton. The Patriots releasing Cam Newton, and they went for Bill Belichick's going for Mac Jones,
Yep.
his son. They walked the same way. I see you saw that, right, in the draft, and he walked.
Yes.
So he's going with the son right there. But what are your thoughts on that shocking move today, and where do you think he'll end up?
I gotta tell you, I'm not that shocked about it, right? It's like Bill Belichick seems to have this, like, I don't know, sixth sense or something. Like, he seems to get rid of players right before they just kind of, really go on the downward spiral. I don't think Cam's on a downward spiral. I still got love for him. I still think he's got a little bit more in the tank. But hey, if they like what they were seeing out of Mac Jones, then that's what you do. That's probably what I would have done, right? That's your future. So go ahead and roll with him. I've seen it all. Yeah, the Cowboys is, Cam going to Houston. I've seen the Washington football team. Actually, Damian, credit to him on that.
Oh, yeah.
I like Cam in Washington, and that might be exactly what they need to get them, over the hump in the division.
Yeah. So speaking of the Cam, and I think, in my opinion, I think when he had the incident with the COVID situation, I don't know if you heard about the incident. Do you think that had any effect to this?
So what did he do? I was a little bit confused. Like, he just didn't have follow protocol.
Yeah, I think he followed protocols, and he made his own choices. I think that's what I heard. But
you can't do that on the Patriots.
Yeah,
like, we know you got to follow the Patriot way, right? Tom Brady always say that. No, you just you can't go off and do your own thing. No, that probably impacted it a little bit.
Yeah. So now we do this fun little segment on the show. It's called the rapid fire segment. You ready for this?
Oh gosh, we do that too for our guests. Oh boy, I guess so. I'm gonna try.
Favorite food?
My favorite food, probably bagels.
So speaking of fantasy, which player are you targeting? Which one player that you like in this season to have a breakout year?
I don't know that it would be a breakout year, but who I've definitely targeted and who I love and I roll with every year is actually Matt Stafford for my quarterback. And I did get him. I love him going to the Rams. I think he's going to fit this system like a glove. I think Sean McVay is going to have the best time with him. So I am really high on him. For me, it was Matt Stafford.
Now he has weapons: Deshaun Jackson, Tyler Higbee. You got you got what's it called? Robert Woods there. Yep. I think he has much better weapons that he had in Detroit.
Oh God, yeah.
And Sean McVay is a genius, so that's gonna be fun to watch.
Yes.
Favorite music?
Favorite music? Definitely some pop music for sure.
Nice. What do you do on your off days and all?
I work out a lot. So I do a lot of yoga. I like to hike. I like to watch my reality TV, right? Real Housewives, Below Deck. I like to work out and kind of de-stress from the day and get my zen on a little bit. So
you said earlier you were a Bulls fan, right? Back in the day, 90s.
Back in the day, rock the starter jacket. Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you think do you watch NBA a little bit?
No, I kind of go back and forth between them. I didn't watch much this past year.
Who's your favorite college football team if you watch college football?
I don't really, but I guess I would have to root for Rutgers.
Do you have any like funny moments throughout your life?
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm just trying to like think off the top of my head. Funny moments. Maybe the fact that my boss, that was kind of funny.
Oh man, that's a small world. What a small world though, right?
Yeah, really. We have funny moments on the show every Wednesday. Something comes out of my mouth and we just have a good time.
Most memorable interview you have guys done on the show before?
Actually, I would say last week we had Gus Farrat on, and he
Oh
was
yeah.
amazing. That was the first guest we, aside
Okay.
from other podcasters, first athlete that we've had on. So it was really cool. And he was very insightful and gave, great answers, kind of behind the scenes look at what it's like in the locker room when he was playing with Randy Moss. So it was amazing. Really cool interview.
We had Gus Farrar on the show too.
Yeah, he's great, isn't
He's
he?
awesome. It was an honor talking to him, and
Yeah, it
what
really
a
was.
what a great person. So what? All right. All right. Who's more competitive? You or actually, let me say this: who's more competitive, Jason or Damien?
I think I would say Jay, because when we do the knowledge with Nikki segment, D, he'll be upset, but Jay, like, he really, when he knows it and he kind of just, doesn't take that extra beat to think it through, I mean, he really gets upset. And then the scoring system, unfortunately for them, I think it depends on my mood. So sometimes it's like, why did I get that point? And he gets really upset. So I would say in that, I would give it to Jay for sure.
All right, be honest here. Do you keep both of them in line sometimes?
Yeah, have to. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. Yep, absolutely. You gotta, and they keep me in line too. But yeah, no, you gotta. Like I said, we try to keep the train on the tracks.
So obviously, what are you most looking forward to? Not only the fans and your team, but what else you're most looking forward to the NFL season coming up?
Yeah, I am excited to see what Buffalo can do this year. Right.
Good Josh Allen. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to see, can Tom Brady do this again?
Yeah.
Like, Father Time just does not catch up to this guy. Like, I just don't, I don't know. They had that whole team coming back. I mean, can he do it again? Can the Chiefs do it again? I want to see what kind of creative play calling Andy Reid comes up with this year. I want to see what the Rams do. I'm highly intrigued by the NFC West this year. I think, we always say the NFC East is wide open. I think the West is wide open. If the Cardinals can get that defense together, got Russell Wilson in Seattle, can never count him out. Like I said, I'm high on the Rams. The 49ers are a complete team. So I'm very intrigued there as well to see what happens in the NFC West.
Speaking of the NFC West, how long of a leash will Jimmy Garoppolo have until Trey Lance gets his chance?
Oh, man. I would say maybe, what do you give him? The first 4 games, maybe?
I give him 2 games.
2 games. Okay. But don't you feel like the first 2 or 3 games are like an extension of preseason?
Yeah, but I mean, this is the fans want to see Trey Lance. It's all about Trey Lance there. So
yeah,
I think this guy, he's ready to play. I've seen it in preseason. He's been good in preseason. Why not give him a chance? But I think they're going to start with Jimmy Garoppolo, obviously. But I'll give him 2 to 3 games until they switch it. I don't know. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah. So the last 2 things here before I let you go. Our team is part of this foundation. It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. He's a former NFL coach. He's now the offensive coordinator at Tennessee State with Eddie George, and we're trying to help him prevent human trafficking, making sure the community stays safe, the kids stay safe. So I'll send it to you so you can go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and all the essential workers right now?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm sure like most of us, we have friends and family, in the field, in the medical field, and they have just been really amazing. I feel like we take it for granted. I take it for granted. Maybe when I went to get my vaccine, I really had a wonderful nurse who, talked to me about some of the concerns I was having. And I just think, gosh, she has to do this all day. And this is just giving a vaccine. So I really do thank them. And you know what? That extends to all the delivery drivers out there who've helped us out during the pandemic. I know it's silly, but thank you for Instacart and my DoorDash people. And, but yeah, no, those frontline workers, really just all the thanks in the world to them. Cause I couldn't do it. And that really takes a certain type of person. So I do hope that they get some appreciation and along the way, which I did say to the nurse that was doing my vaccine. I said, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate it. And she appreciated it because, they don't get to hear that. Yeah. So yeah, no, just a big, big thank you for everything that everyone's done during the pandemic.
Yeah, they deserve a pay raise for sure.
Oh gosh, yeah, they really do.
Yeah, well said. And there it is. That wraps up episode 887 with the talented sports host / cheerleading coach, and the co-host for the 3rd and 3 podcast with Jason and Damian, Nikki Geist. Go follow her on all social media formats. Go check their show out every Wednesday night, 8 p.m., right? Yeah, 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Yeah.
So go check them out. They do a fantastic job. And I just want to say thank you for joining the show today, Nikki. It's been an honor. And we found out something new today, which is a small world.
Yes, it really is.
The boss goes to the same gym, but
yes.
Keep up the great work. And we would like to have you back on the show again so you can meet the full team, and also we can do an in-person show, a live show, and meet in person too.
You might as well. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
Anytime.